Hi there. Just checking on audio. Can you hear me? Hi.
Hey Annabelle, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. Get a response for that question that I had asked or that email that I had sent?
I'm following up with you after this call.
Okay, cool. All right. Hey, Jess, quick question. While I'm waiting and Zoom is recording and so is YouTube, do you cut when you send out the replay? Do you cut it?
So I don't cut it because YouTube, the way YouTube works is they have the live and then the live just like stays up while it just stays up. It's like the same link. So like the same link that somebody would use to join live is the same link they could watch it at later. If you want me to though, I can remove the live and like download it, cut it, edit it, whatever, and then re-upload it like afterwards. I can do that. That works.
I think maybe what I should do is not start recording YouTube until everyone's on.
Yeah, that's what Bill does.
Okay, and I have it going right now and still no one's on. So I think, let's see, maybe I should, let me stop it for now. Well, no, I'll just leave it for now. I mean, I think it just doesn't make sense. And then, hey, good evening, Williams. How are you?
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
That's
Thank you so
great.
much for joining us today.
You're quite welcome. I enjoy. Hopefully, my partner comes on.
Perfect. Yeah, we're running a little behind. I don't have everyone on, but
No problem.
How did you enjoy last week's call?
Really enjoyed it. Very, informative like always. But I really enjoyed it.
Good, good. Yeah, I think it's definitely something that we should all dive in a bit more and look at it, because honestly, this multifamily business is a team sport.
In fact, it makes me rethink, Houston more, but it also syndications that I wanted to, venture in when, capital allows itself, or my investors allow me to do it. But I think in terms of understanding, the partnerships and the syndications, because I see that one of my students, actually, former seventh grade students, he has a big syndication group, and they purchased a lot of buildings in New York. So when I told him he's now the teacher and I'm a student, he did tell me the very fact that he started out with SROs and low income housing, but he now deals with the bigger guys. So
Nice.
So in terms of understanding that side of it and syndications and bringing folks to the table to do deals. So that's what I like to do. So
That's great. No, I think that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, let's get this started. Someone comes in, that's not a big deal. So thank you
I think
again.
Jess is here.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. As you know, this is a weekly call, so it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. And I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm an investor and a real estate broker. I've been in business for 24 years, and really my goal for this call is to teach or share with each one in detail the 8 steps that I took to purchase my first multifamily deal, in hopes that you guys can also do the same thing. I'm not selling anything or offering anything. I'm not a financial advisor in any way. I'm just sharing my story with you in hopes that we can all use this platform to share information with each other and learn from each other. A little bit about myself. I started in the mortgage industry in the mid-90s, purchased over 100 properties throughout my career. We rehabbed, flipped, we kept properties, we managed properties. So I was pretty involved in all aspects of the real estate end. In 2001, we deviated and built a 150 capacity restaurant from ground up. We had a staff of about 15 people, including managers and chefs and servers, and a successful restaurant. We ran that for about 8 years and then sold it. And the last 10, 11 years of my business have been focused 100% on representing both residential and commercial real estate clients. In 2015, I need to change that. I purchased my first multifamily deal, which was 34 units in Grand Prairie, Texas. And at that time, I think, we were looking for a way to create just cash flow, generational wealth, and multifamily was our direction. We were just looking for a way to make our money work for us. And here are some of the reasons why I invested in multifamily. And I hope that it inspires you as well. So number one was cash flow. And we were looking, second there. We were looking for a way to create cash flow, and multifamily for sure allows you to do that. And just in a very superficial way, how we determine cash flow is really rental income minus all of your expenses equals cash flow. We were looking for a way that our loan would pay down by tenants, and multifamily allows you to do that, right? Your tenants are paying your rent, and by that they're also paying down your mortgage. Number 3 was appreciation. I will tell you personally, I never imagined that appreciation would work to my benefit for this particular property when I purchased in Texas, because the appreciation in Texas was very different than it was here in California. I can say today my property has appreciated, 4 times. I mean, it's quadrupled in value. I'm extremely happy. And I know that, no one knows, no one has a crystal ball, but at that time, we're looking for cash flow, and this property allowed us and gave us the opportunity to earn the cash flow. Hey, Bill, do you mind muting yourself? There's a lot of background noise. Cool, thank you. Thanks. The other reason was the tax benefits. This is great because number one, depreciation. It allows you to expense a portion of the physical structure each year. And then number two, the 1031 exchange, which allows you to defer capital gain taxes with no limit. So if you find another deal, like your building appreciates, you can turn around and sell it. That capital gain, you roll it over into another property, you are deferred. You don't have to pay taxes on it. Eventually you will, but by then it doesn't matter. It's allowing you to grow your money, now. So a little bit about my property. I purchased a value add multifamily, and value add pretty much, there's room in there where we came in and had the availability to improve on it so that we can increase the value. And I'll explain a little bit more in detail. So we purchased the property for $850,000, and this is in 2015. We negotiated directly with the seller and had the seller finance the balance. So we gave the seller a $350 down payment, and he carried a note for the remaining balance of $500,000. Now, I want you guys to know that nowhere on the listing did it ever say that the seller would even finance. That wasn't an option. It was just, my experience in the business and representing clients, and these situations have come up. I thought at that moment, hey, this could be a great opportunity for me to ask the seller if he would finance, and made it a lot easier because when he agreed to do that, we didn't have to go through the loan process. And the loan process can be tedious. It's not impossible, but it's just, there's a lot more documentation and a lot more steps involved in order for you to actually get that loan. So it worked out. He agreed to finance the remaining balance of the $500,000, and it was all at a reasonable interest rate. I mean, we made payments to him, and we were super, super happy because it allowed us to just, we closed the deal and we went in and started with remodels and updating units, and we increased the rents. And we were really focused on increasing those rents because we knew that by doing that, the value of this property would go up, and we would be in a much better position to refinance in that 2-year period. So once we were done with the let's say we weren't done, because you're really never done, but we were ready to refinance. The property appraised at $1.6 million, and we got a loan for $1 million. So we pretty much got all our money back. And today we really have no money invested. I mean, like zero money of our own money invested in that property. And the appreciation of this property has been incredible because we're at a $2.7 million value right now. Any questions so far? I know this is a lot of info. Okay, we're good to move on. All right, so here's a picture of the property. We have 24 units, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And we have another building that has 10 units with 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. They're townhome styles. They have a small patio in the back, and 2 bedrooms, 1.5. So today I wanted to discuss determining location. Like, how do you determine the location where you maybe want to buy property. Has anyone, I mean, before I go into this, I'd like to get a little bit of feedback. Has anyone on this call been looking to purchase multifamily? And if you have, what locations, what areas are you considering that you could share with everyone else? No one?
Yes, but I didn't want to talk too much, but it's New York, New Jersey, Texas, Georgia.
Okay. New York, Texas,
New Jersey,
New
and
Jersey.
Georgia.
Okay. Anybody else on the call interested in a particular area? Okay, let me see here. King of Prussia. Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to share with you guys why or how important it is to ask these questions when you're looking to buy. Okay. Number one, you're going to connect. You have to at some point connect with a commercial agent in whatever area it is that you're interested in. If any of you on this call are looking in a particular area and you don't have someone in that area, connect with me. I could definitely connect you with a great agent in that area. Okay. And it's important that you do connect because you want to ask them questions, right? You want to know, like what locations, cities, or specific neighborhoods are they familiar with, right? And then you start picking their brain and you start asking questions. And then you want them to also provide some research, like what do they have that can help you figure out if this is the area that you want to invest. So I've written down a couple of questions or items that I think are important for you to look at when you're looking to buy. So number one, rent comparables, right? So you want to find out what are the rents going for in whatever location or specific neighborhood you decide that you're interested in. And if maybe you're not sure yet, you might want to pick a couple areas, right? And look at comps. You want to look at sold comps. So the first one, rent comps, would be anything like just like stuff that's going on right now in the area. Sold comps are comparables of sold properties in those areas that you're interested in. You ask them, like, what do you know about these properties? Believe me, multifamily industry world is very small, and everybody kind of knows what properties are on the market because they're all looking at them. They're all studying these properties. So, what do you know about the property? Any kind of like any history? What do you know about that location, right? Any positive, any negatives about the location? And who bought the property? Was it a syndicating group? Was it an individual buyer? Like, you just want to get all this information because this will help you build a really strong, it'll help you build a strong, what's the word I want to use? Just strong information for you to be able to make that decision. Who's the broker? Like, who brokered that deal? Cap rates, right? What are the cap rates today? What have they been, historically, maybe the last 5 years, right? Maybe we want to go back a little bit. Average property expense ratios. So these are important questions that you want to ask that commercial agent when you are inquiring about a certain location. You also want to ask them, what stage in the market are we in? Maybe a 10-year historicals. Are we in an emerging market, a recovering market? You know, let them tell you what they think or where they think we're at. What submarkets should I avoid? Right? When I tell you anything positive, anything negative, okay, are there any submarkets that I should avoid? Why? You want to ask those questions. You want them to tell you about local apartment inventory, right? What do they see? What's going on? About just recent sales, right? Recent apartment deals that actually closed. Those are great because now you can actually find out what was the mix, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, right? What was the area? What were the rents going for? You could get all this information. They usually will, if it's in a market that you're interested, they'll know, and if they don't know, they can get that information. Who of their client has done really well? I mean, this is great because then at least this can give you, maybe you can connect with one of these clients and you can find out, what did they do, right? What was the process like? And kind of like really what I'm doing right now. I mean, I was someone looking to buy multifamily. And my background obviously has been real estate, and I've been involved in a wide range of real estate, from developing to mortgages to representing clients on residential, commercial. So I have a wide knowledge of it. And I decided, hey, I was looking to purchase a multifamily. And I started doing my homework, right? I determined my situation was a little bit different. I had a mentor who was out in Texas, and it was just easy for me to just follow. Like, he had already done the legwork. Let me follow. And so I went into Texas, and I didn't know where in Texas I was going to buy, but I started investigating. I started talking to agents. I started trying to figure things out. And obviously, by the time a property pops up and you've done your research, you've done your homework, when a property pops up, you now know, okay, this is not a bad area. Let me go take a look at it, right? And then you obviously have to dig more, but at least we start with the location. All right, this is a location I can work with. And that's exactly what happened. So, so you want to ask, you really want to ask these questions, right? Who's done really well? What did they buy? And when did they buy it? Right? What if they sold the property? Okay, well, how long did they hold it? What did they do? What were their strategies? What was their strategies? And I think, what's the current investor demand for properties? I mean, we know right now, just the market that we're in, properties are selling like hotcakes. And that's both residential and commercial. Multifamily prices have gone up tremendously. So it's just the market that we're in right now. There's still opportunities and there's still room for more. But it's definitely a lot more competitive right now. All right. Any questions? No questions? You guys got all this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you want to check online. There's a lot of real estate commercial sites, LoopNet, Crexi, Reonomy, Zillow, Realtor.com. And I think LoopNet. Yeah. LoopNet is where I found my property. And it was just, I happened to be out in the area at that time. And, I was constantly checking, and this property popped up. I drove by, I saw it. And again, I had been studying the market and driving around, figuring out, like good and bad areas. And when this popped up, it was a decent area, and I knew, okay, this is the one we're gonna have to negotiate, because it was within my price, my price range. So it's important that you guys check these sites out. Some of them do require a fee, or require that you are registered with them. And I forgot to put in here, there's another very large company, which is CoStar. So when evaluating, you should, you really should know, you should know things like these that I have written down here, which is very important. So what's the employment growth like in that area? I mean, this is going to determine the value of your property. This is going to determine the type of tenants that you will be attracting, right? Where is this growth concentrated? What big, large companies are near me or near this property? A lot of tech companies have moved out to Texas. So I can speak for Texas. We know that growth has just been incredible. What's driving that growth? Companies are moving out here. So they're bringing employees. Employers are going to need a place to rent. What are the local market trends doing? And are there any interesting interplays within the local government that would pertain to this market? So these are, important, very important questions that you want to get some positive response, so that you know that that location that you're going to go and invest in is going to be a good location, a good area. It's going to support all of that. And then, of course, network, connect with other investment owners, find out where and what they're buying. This is super important. I mean, obviously, this call that I do on a weekly basis is a great platform to connect with other potential investors or current owners of investment properties. You network, you ask questions. Where are they buying? What did they do? And I think that this, I would say networking is probably one of the most important things that you can do when you're purchasing. Rent growth, right? You want to make sure that there is consistent upward trend and affordability. Gentrified, or talks about being gentrified, right? If you guys aren't familiar with this, it's really where wealthier people are increasing rents and property values are increasing because they're moving into these areas, and they're all in an upwards movement. And if you find that prices are too high in an area that you would like to buy, maybe you'll have to go out of state or out into another area. I mean, it's definitely doable, but it requires some special handling. So let's talk a little here. I'm going to stop sharing, and wanted to just get everyone's, just share with me what's going on. What are you guys doing? Where are you at in this process? Are you stuck? Let's talk. This is open to everyone. Come on. I need some feedback.
Well, I'm basically still doing research in the areas, looking in terms of the value and looking, as you said, the elements that you basically did mention in terms of growth and changing, looking at government interplay, looking at 3 to 5 year plans to see what's about to come into that area. So doing the research has put me into, let me wait and see. And looking at where the trends are in the market is, besides getting funding from other investors in order to launch that.
And can you be a little more specific as to like an area where you're looking at that 3 to 5 year plan?
For instance, I actually left out also the neighboring state, Pennsylvania. But I know, for instance, in Philadelphia, they have a 25-year plan that they wanted to implement prior to COVID. I was with a group that were going to build a couple of actually a charter school, plus take over a couple of buildings there. And so we saw that there are other investors that are coming into that area. And so the city has a plan where they want to increase the population and bring in other investors in other buildings. So, I mean, either in a city or surrounding the inner city. And so that's what I looked at as far as Pennsylvania. I neglected that. And then now friends are, we're looking at Texas and Georgia for the same reasons. So.
Very nice. Very nice. How about anyone else? Mr. Jackson, welcome to the call. Oh, you're muted. Hi. You're muted. Bottom left. You need to just
Can you hear
unmute
me?
yourself. Oh, now I can hear you. Yes, welcome.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm
Annabelle?
doing great. I'm doing
Oh, good.
wonderful.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
I thought she left you in Puerto Vallarta.
No, hey, I thought you guys were coming out to Puerto Vallarta.
No, it'd be nice. No, again, yeah, I'm just kind of doing a little research and, and just kind of making sure, when I do get in, I have all, things lined up. And, the market is, I'm not sure what's going on with the commercial market, but, of course, because I work a lot with the residential stuff and I know it's really crazy right now. And especially if you buy something and then you have to do renovations and stuff like that, right now with the cost of materials and stuff of that nature, to me, it's kind of a wait and see, because in fact, one of my friends, he doing some renovation on one of the homes that he wants to put on the market. And he went over to Home Depot and Lowe's. And in fact, it's hard to find some of the materials he was telling me. And then the price of stuff like plyboard and stuff of that nature, he said, is just out of the, just really out of line. And, if you're going to do some major construction or work right now, you may want to just kind of wait for a while. So, I'm kind of looking at that as well.
Yeah. I have, I'm not sure if my partner here, Bill Gross, is available, but he hosts a weekly call as well. Just investment calls. Hey, Bill, is there anything you can share with us that you've heard from your group there regarding the market?
Well, keep in mind that if the price of new lumber is going up, that means the value of lumber that's already built into a house is also going up, right? And so the rising costs are making the inventory that exists more valuable. It's kind of counterintuitive. So when you say you want to wait, if you can buy the property in today's dollars, but we know it's going to go up because the cost of the material to build and replace it has already gone up quite a bit, even more. Like you said, in some cases, 100%. Well, apartments have doubled in price. So the key is the numbers. If you can make it work, what every investor says, if they can make the deal work properly, not work as in inappropriately, but work properly with proper reserves and proper cash flow, best time ever to buy property.
Right. I agree. I mean, if the numbers make sense, then obviously then the deal makes sense. But you know what? You're right. Construction costs and material is up tremendously.
Yeah, so you just have to budget that. You have to update your budget to reflect the actual cost. But as long as you do that, if the deal doesn't cash flow anymore, there's no good, or lower your price. But if the deal flows, but just know that increased cost is not yet reflected in the increased price of the property.
Right. Well, that's a very good point. Very good point. So factor it all in. Everyone has to factor that in so that to determine if that property makes sense or not. All right. Very good. So, I would like to know, I mean, Bill, maybe you know this too. I mean, I know that properties have gone up, tremendously. And I can only speak for Texas because that's the area where I am currently invested in. And obviously in California, I know the area and the market because I work it. And I see how prices have just, I mean, it skyrocketed. And even right now, because I've been contemplating possibly selling, right, so that I can cash out, but I'm looking at properties and the prices are high. I'm doing the numbers and it just doesn't pencil out for me because now I'm getting myself in debt maybe 3 times where I'm at right now, right? Maybe $4 million in debt to make the same amount of money or maybe just a little bit more than what I was at before. And yes, there's that opportunity or that potential for me to increase rents, right, throughout the next 2-3 years, but it still doesn't pencil out. Like it just doesn't make sense. And I'm just wondering if you've heard from others, like what are they doing?
Well, the one universal thing that I've heard from professional investors is twofold. One, remember, you're not buying a property, you're trading a property. Right?
Right.
So you have to compare the difference of where you are to where you're going to go. The second thing is you have to look at more deals than you used to. And I think that's the other universal part is because finding a property is more valuable now than it was. So more people are looking for deals. And so when I talk to professional investors for the last 10 years, I would ask them the question, how many properties do you look at to buy one? And almost everyone gave me the exact same answer.
100.
They would look at 100. They would run numbers on 10 to 15. They would go look at an offer of 3 to 5, and they'd buy one. It was 100 to 1. Every investor worked their numbers. When I really pinned them down the numbers, it was always the same answer. Nowadays, it's 150 to 1. Now, that's 50% more work to find property. Now, if you're an investor and an agent brings you a deal that makes sense, that's different. But I'm talking about, to find that one deal that makes sense and pencils out, you have to find a way to screen through deals because a lot of people are putting out their property on the market. Well, I'd love to get $3 million for a property that's worth $2 million. And so you have to kind of learn how to quickly weed through those and focus on what you're looking for. Every investor says the same thing. They have to really streamline the process to go through a lot more properties to find a few good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely a challenge. It's a lot harder than it was 4 or 5 years ago. That's for sure. I'm actually, I'm trying to figure out, does it make sense to sell, or am I maybe in a position where I could refi, cash out, and go buy something else with rates being so low right now, and keep my asset and purchase and add to my portfolio. So I don't know. I think is it going to be hard? It's going to be hard, but the kind of property that I would consider purchasing if I sold would be a lot more, maybe, I don't know, maybe much more competitive versus if I just cash out, I'm going to buy something a little smaller that won't be as competitive. But again, I'm in that process right now, and the beauty of all this is that interest rates are so low that it just makes sense to me, I think, in the long run, to just cash out, refi, cash out, and have the money ready, find something out there, and be in a position where I don't need to do a 1031 exchange just yet, and just outright be able to buy it. So, I mean, that's something that, I'm considering at this time due to the circumstances of just properties being so expensive. And honestly, the numbers just don't pencil out, don't make sense.
That's what we're in.
I agree. How you doing, Bill? How's New York treating you? Well, or you're back?
Well, I'm back in LA, but it was great.
Okay. That I know some investors say, for instance, they did a 1031 exchange, and they bought a couple of properties in that way, and so they just upped the value. So they took $1 million and bought a $2 million house, which actually turned into 3 to 4 value in a period of time, similar to what you did with the 34 units in Texas. And then there are some that either take the money and divide up to buy something equal to buy 2 properties for the price of 1. So they hedge to see where one property goes as well as the other. So if something goes down, they may go back up. And then the third, I know a bond person who is encouraging a lot of his people and landlords to sell off, that liquidate, so that they would have liquid, so that if the market goes down, that they can go back in and swoop it up at a lower price.
Right. But again, we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we really don't know, how much more of this is going to, how much longer of this are we going to have? Is it going to be a year, 2 years, 3 years? We have no clue.
So we can always ask Warren Buffett to loan us, give us some money. So if we lose it, there won't be a problem. He won't look at it.
Good luck on that one. Well, do you have the connection? Hey, if you have the connection, I'll call.
Okay. I'll work on it.
You work on that one. Exactly. Well, multifamily is definitely, I mean, it's been a great business for me, and I would love to continue, and I would love to add to the number, but I find that it's definitely hard. And I think that's why I brought in last week, Sonia, who does syndications, because I thought, well, they're buying hundreds and hundreds of apartments, and I keep coming to the realization that multifamily is a team sport. And I think that if we want to grow, if we can connect with the right syndicating team, that's also another route, a possibility. So those are things that I'm exploring as well, because I am looking to grow my portfolio. And if I can't do it alone, then maybe I can join a syndicating group, and I also have clients that would be extremely happy to join with me, because they know my experience in purchasing multifamily and what I've done, and it turned out positive. And so they trust me in the industry. They know that I understand and know the business. So it'd be great to have a group of clients of mine and myself, right? I would invest myself as well, and try to find a property that we can all do well in. So I'm going to try to have Sonia, the syndicating lady I had last week, join us possibly once a month, and maybe by then, she'll have some opportunities that if any of us here on this call are interested, could possibly, be a part of it. So I know that there's certain rules that she said last time that it wouldn't be open to everybody that she doesn't know, but if she comes on a once a month, if she visits us once a month, then who's ever on the call, she'll get to know. So I think that would be kind of interesting. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Anybody on this call interested in syndicating or being a part of a syndication?
Sounds great to me.
Okay.
I think that would be a good idea, at least for starters, for, if you don't have a lot of experience and you're working with folks that do have experience and folks that you can, trust. And, so I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. And that's good. I'll definitely keep you guys posted. I mean, as as this call that I do continues to grow, you know, I think that eventually we could get to a point where obviously we all do our due diligence, right? Because I mean, we can't control all of that, but as long as we're doing our due diligence and we all feel comfortable with whoever it is we decide that we want to invest with, you know, it could end up being a really good thing for all of us. So let me just. Hi, Thomas. How are you?
Oh, fine. Sorry, Annabelle. I was kind of in and out. I got a little busy, but I was just wanted to catch. Thank you.
All righty. Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, glad you were able to make it. You were going to say
Yeah.
something, Bill?
No, it sounds good. I was just saying, I was agreeing with what you just said as far as what the plans are. I'm in. You know, I have a little bit of a challenge time-wise in that you're kind of coming during a time of the day. You booked it. This meeting is just kind of tough, busy time for me, so I'm not able to flip this all the time. But I really like what you're doing. I love the idea of investing syndication. I put some money in and play with investment. I'm not really ready to jump in and take on all the work of an investment property, multifamily out of state, but I would jump in syndication with you and put some money in it and kind of learn from the inside. I think it'd be very valuable.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, and I think that would be a great plan moving forward. And it's just, you know, just from what I'm going through right now, right? I'm looking at properties, trying to see if it makes sense. And, you know, they don't pencil out, right? I've done the numbers, they don't pencil out. And I think that, you know, if I had more people involved, then now we're looking at a totally different type of property, right? Where because I have investors and there's more money, then we could look at something a little bit bigger. So I'm putting it out there. I mean, this is something that, like, you know, in the works. If the opportunity arises, obviously those that are on this call and that are connected with me, I would offer them that opportunity. And I think that, you know what, we can all grow together and make some money. And for those that don't want to be involved, right, 100%, because for whatever reasons you're doing other stuff, at least you know that if I'm involved, I will be involved, and that we're making sure that things are getting done properly for the best that we can. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be really really interesting. Any other questions? I need some water. I've been talking too much.
I'm going to run. I got another call I got to jump on to, but thank you very much. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. So let's see here. Any other questions or anything else? I think that my topic for today about determining location, I've given you, you know, important points that I think are to not be ignored, and you know, connect with people, ask them questions, and you know, like, keep gathering information. I'm in a position where I'm still, you know what, every day something new pops up. It's just like, whoa, I didn't even know about that. So it's just like gathering information, asking different investors, people that have already done this, right? Or how are they connecting? Where are they finding deals, or who are they dealing with? I think it is just critical. You guys really, really need to connect. And I don't know if I've mentioned specifically Bill Gross. He is my partner. He does 2 classes, and I want to say, let me look at the schedule. They're great classes. If you guys are interested in attending his class, they're probate and investing related. He has a probate call. Let me see. So Mondays, let me look here really quick. So on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, so right after Yeah, no, Tuesdays at 3 o'clock, he does an investing group Zoom call as well. I can send you guys the link if you're interested. And then he offers another class on,
Thursday.
it is Thursday.
Thursday at 4 Pacific time, and Eastern time it's at 7 is the probate weekly class.
The probate weekly class. You got it. Perfect. So, connect with him as well. And, he offers and he brings a lot of knowledgeable people to his call. And again, this is how we're all just going to connect. This little group will connect with that group, and you know what? We'll all get to know each other, and possibly we can all invest together in something and do well.
Annabelle, would you send me that information if you don't mind? I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let me make sure. Do you mind? Let me have your email.
Okay, it's Lemuel, Lemuel, Jackson, JCKSON, .active realty, ACTIVE realty, REALTY @gmail.com.
Sure, I'll send them both to you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with regards to syndication, is there a certain type of property that you would be, looking at, or you just, I just kind of like, or you just say, for instance, the level of work that needs to be done on a particular property that you're looking at in terms, or is the cost going to be driving it, or what's the driving factor?
Yeah. No, so I think, it's very different. Every deal is super, super different and unique. The syndication deal, or Sandhya, who I had last week, they're buying 200, 300, 400 unit apartment buildings. Her minimum, if I'm not mistaken, was $50,000.
Okay.
In order for you to be able to enter or be a part of the syndication. And again, it's really every deal is very different. So I couldn't even answer that. But mainly multifamily is what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I have other investors that I'm working with that are looking at commercial, like retail, office, property. So I think it just really depends, and every group will have their specific investment dollar amounts, like how much they actually will. Like, for example, she said 50,000. I have others that they only want a minimum of 100, and then there's others that accredited investors are 250,000. So it just really depends on the. It depends on the property, and how they structure it. So I think when the time comes, Lumel, I can definitely let you know if the opportunity arises for syndication. Whoever's on this call that would be interested, I can definitely connect you guys. I'll let you know, and then I'm sure we'll have more information. We'll get more information.
Okay.
But I think what I want you to get from this is that the opportunity to syndicate and for us to be able to be a part of multifamily, right, where we can make our money work for, like, just get a better return on our money. Because no matter what, if you put the money in the bank account, you're not making anything.
That's for sure.
We're not making anything. So
No.
I think that if we find a reliable, a professional group of people that know what they're doing, then it makes sense. Then it really makes sense. And I'm, I'll tell you, I never really was in the mindset of syndication until now, recently, that I have connected with more people. And I think it only happens when you connect with more people, you learn about them, you start to see, wow, they're really knowledgeable about this, they know what they're doing, where you start feeling like, okay, you know what, I wouldn't mind. 5-6 years ago, when I decided I wanted to buy something, it was pretty much just my husband and I. yes, I had all the experience, my prior experience, but it's very different.
Right.
Now, if I want to grow, I think that it two things. I either sell my property, try to find something that makes sense, and I haven't been able to do that. So I don't want to sell if I don't have something. So it's just a catch-22. It's hard.
Of course.
Right? So, and I think it's better if I just keep my property, refi, take advantage of the low rates, and be ready. Be ready if something comes up or there's an opportunity to invest, then I'm prepared. I'm ready to go.
I think that's a smart move. I really do. Because
Thank you.
again, I think we're all looking at the market and what we see in the market at this point in time. And then the other thing too, we're not sure exactly what this administration is going to do with regards to real estate, but I know we all are basically seeing and listening at what some of the plans are. And, and based on some of that, just the other day, the Federal Reserve, they're actually talking about raising interest rates sometime, not 22 and 23.
Mhm.
So, with that, and then when the 1031 exchange, they're
Yeah.
actually talking about doing away with it.
I know.
So
I know.
again, there's a lot of things that, right now that may come to fruition, but there's some talks, so we have to just kind of keep an eye on some of those kind of things.
Exactly. And, and I welcome, please, stuff like that, information that you hear, share it on this call, because I think that it's only going to help all of us on this call know what's going on so that we're prepared. And yes, I have heard about that 1031, and also I believe, if I'm not mistaken, capital gain has gone up. The capital
it
gain.
has.
Yeah.
And again, and with
Yes.
regards to this new legislation they're talking about implementing, that's definitely one of the key factors, with regards to how that's going to play out is, kind of, that percentage and what it's going to be. There's some different thoughts on that.
Right. Exactly. Well, so we got to be prepared. And I know that what goes up comes down. So when, we don't know, but definitely I think being prepared is key.
I agree.
All right. So I really wanted to thank everyone for joining me today. Thank you guys so very much. Remember, this is every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I believe that would be 4 Central, 5 East. Yes. Are you 5?
Yes.
Yes.
5 Eastern.
5
5,
Eastern.
yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I will be here next week, and we'll talk about some more good stuff. And if you guys have anything you want to share, please, share it, bring it on, and have a great week. And I'll see you guys all next week.
Okay, take care. You
Thank
do the
you.
same.
Thanks, and I'll send you that information, Lemuel.
Okay,
And I'll
thanks.
send you the 25-year plan from Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Cool. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
again, Annabelle.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah, I
Glad
did
you
listen.
made it.
Yeah, I listened to. Yeah, thanks for recording too, because I did listen to the one last week. It's very interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
very,
Yeah,
very
so
interesting. Yeah.
I think that's also a good it's a good opportunity. If
Uh-huh.
you're not if you don't have the money to go in all by yourself, well then you know
Uh-huh.
what, there's some great syndicating companies out there.
Okay.
So I'll try to bring a couple different people that I know from the multifamily world, and have them come and talk at our group.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Sounds good.
Thanks again,
Thank you
Annabelle.
guys. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.